Welcome back, classical students, to what will hopefully very soon become your favorite class, virtually and on campus when we get there. So, in this section, I wanted to give you a few pointers for finding success inside of my course, but also inside of all the classes you're taking. And for me, that boils down to one key ingredient, and that is good communication. If we don't have good communication, this is going to be a really frustrating process for us to teach through distance learning. So let's start at the beginning. I know for me personally, the biggest problem I have is that students always want to email me like they do their other teachers, and that is first initial of the first name and then last name. But if you do that, you type in B. Smith, look what happens. You don't know this, but that actually takes you to Brigitte Smith. And I feel horrible. She receives dozens and dozens of emails every year, especially at the start, that are meant for me. And sometimes those emails can take a couple of hours or even several days to reach me. All the while, you're fuming at the fact that I haven't responded to your email and wondering why. Now you know. So it's very important that you use my full name, which is Barak, B-A-R-A-K, and my last name, Smith, at classicalacademy.com. So that's Barak Smith at classicalacademy.com. Now, that's the first hurdle out of the way. Be sure to share that with your parents because they're often the ones who email Brigitte as well mistakenly. Next up, you just want to put in some kind of brief subject category. Here's why. We often overlook that, but as you become a professional in the workplace, you want to let your reader know, the recipient end of it, exactly what it is that you need. Otherwise, this could be an email of praise or it could be a plea for help, and we don't know until you put something in there. I would recommend, please help. Need videos, right? And maybe that's not the most specific thing. I don't know why I put a question mark there. I can erase that. Anyway, the next step you want to do is have some type of salutation or greeting, we would say, just like you would inside of a letter. And I know this seems overly formal, but your teachers will usually appreciate it. I know I do. So you could say, Dear Mr. Smith, and maybe as time goes on, a lot of students just call me Smith, so you could say, Dear Smith. And then perhaps even much further down the road, if you wanted to be less formal, you could say, Hey Smith. However, you need to know the line, and with some teachers that wouldn't be acceptable. You could also have a little fun with this and say, Dear favorite teacher. Helps if you spell things correctly. Dear favorite teacher. Couldn't hurt, right? Next up, a lot of students will just say, I don't understand anything. Wish I could spell anything. The problem with this is it doesn't actually tell me what you're struggling with. Now let's pretend that we're on week 5 and you've just told me by sending me an email that you don't understand anything. Now, am I to get from this that those last 5 weeks have been lost? Probably this isn't really the case and you do understand something, so I recommend being very specific. The other thing you don't want to do is put exclamation points. What that does is that actually equates to you yelling through the computer screen at your teacher. So when you do that, that's not seen as a good sign, unless it's for praise. We say, this class is amazing, exclamation point, exclamation point. Really, you only need one, but you can throw on some extras. Okay, so you want to be specific and saying, here is what I need help with. And then right down here, you can use bullet points. Now, as a teacher, when I look at this, I could say, oh, okay, so they need help accessing the welcome video. They haven't been able to download the syllabus, and their program isn't working on the Chromebook. So when I hit reply, now I can answer in line each of these questions. You're satisfied, you've got the help that you've needed, and I feel like I'm doing my job as a teacher. So there you are, just some quick tips. You can use them inside of all of your classes, and I look forward to getting to know all of you much better in the very near future. Take care.